You won, but you didn't just win for you.
That's right.
Just like Rosa Parks didn't just win for herself. But what she did began a ripple effect that began to transform the nation. And somebody has to always be willing to be first. Somebody has to sacrifice in order for things to open up. And you may not get all of the benefit. There may come along somebody 15 years from now that gets a better contract than you, but you will always be known as those who opened it up and made it possible. And that's why your movement is so important, because it inspires people one more time to believe that we can come together beyond race, beyond class, beyond color. We can come, or with all of those things, we can come together and we can win. And that's what America needs to understand. And we can win because it's right. Not just because it's going to give me a higher rate, but it's something right. There's something really right about justice. And we must begin to fight these fights from a moral perspective. And every time we're in a fight, we must say things to ourselves. Turn to your neighbor and say, you got to talk to yourself. No, say, really, you got to talk to yourself. I didn't say answer yourself, but you got to talk to yourself if you're in a moment. And you got to say, self, no matter what I'm going through, it ain't worse than slavery. And they beat that. It's not worse than when women didn't have the right to vote and they made it through that. It's not worse than when Franklin Delano Roosevelt raised the minimum wage in spite of the fact that he had polio and could not hardly stand. It's not worse than Jim Crow and we beat that. It's not worse than apartheid, but Nelson Mandela and the people of South Africa, when they came together, they beat that. It's not worse than what young people faced 50 years ago in Freedom Summer, and they beat that. Talk to yourself. I know it was tough for you, but put that in context. And thank God for this. You're still here. Sometimes that's your shout. Sometimes that's your prayer. It might have been 3 years. It might have been 4, 5, 20, 25. But I'm still here, clothed in right mind, and we are winning. Tell it to your grandchildren. You ought to tell it to your children. You ought to shout it from the top of the mountain. I was there when we opened up Cablevision and began a new union movement.